It's me! Now you have full-blown AIDS. That's pretty sexy. You know, people that have full-blown AIDS have a lot of sex all the time. So, you know, you're the top of the heap of modern society, buddy. Okay, let's play some Defcon. Okay, let's slow this down so I can position stuff. So I chose to be... Oh, no. Oh, my mousey, no. Okay. I chose to be Glorious Russian Federation. Let's play some... Oh, no. This isn't a good game to have, like, scrolling mouse across the screen. Oh, well. Like, last stream was just let's just start it off with fucking up. Okay. Place some radar, put some by Vladivostok. So I chose to be Russian Federation. Keeps... Yeah, I can move this. Let's move this over here so I don't keep fucking going off screen. Okay. Vladivostok, you're gonna get nuked. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, let's build these. So these are the ICBM/missile defense centers. A little bit important in this game, especially for, you know, Eurasia to have missile defense centers. Let's get an Air Force. I'm gonna put an Air Force along here. I'm gonna have the Air Force strike down westward into Asia and eastward, or not eastward, southward. Well, westward into Europe and then southward into Eurasia, or Asia. The Asiatic player here. So this is on like free-for-all right now. So this is gonna be chaos. Okay, I'm gonna... What? Okay, I fucked up. Like, I can't see what's going on the screen. So I'm gonna have to create a whole 6-pack here. So, building my fleet. I want my fleet... I'm gonna get fucked up probably. Like, just be straight up with you guys. I'm gonna get fucking wrecked here. Wow. Looks like my left or my right mouse isn't working. But I'm just gonna try and, like, defend here. Hopefully against imperialist navy of the United States. What the fuck? Oh, here. I fucked it. God damn. I should just... Well, I guess you guys gotta see me fuck up now. Okay, I'm gonna put this, like, as far south as possible. I'm gonna, like, dodge it down, and I'm gonna try to have it attack South America. I'm quiet, you say? Oh, lordy. Oh, lordy, is it really that bad? Is my voice coming in? Hello? Hello? I know what happened. Hello? Can you guys hear me? Hello? God fucking damn, man. Okay, can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? Okay. Here we go. Let's speed some shit up. Let's get to World War III here. Defcon 4 is coming soon, honey. Look, their boats are gonna appear here, and I'm gonna look like a fucking like the Gook boats are gonna be right in the middle of my... Oh. Well, they must have put them in the Indian Ocean. Okay, let's pause so we can... Moving my boats. I'm moving my boats, comrade. Okay, let's move these subs down. Let's get them into, like, Micronesia and shit. Let's see what the northeastern Caucasians have here. The so-called white races. Okay. So, we must put Warsaw... Well, obviously we need Minsk and, like, all the... Wow, that's a lot of Ukrainian cities. We need Kiev and Minsk under the rule of glorious Eurasia. I'm assuming that... Does Georgia fall under our sway? No? Well, I couldn't place shit down there, so it must not. Oh no. Oh no. It's America. Let's speed it up a little. They're gonna slam in here, right here. It's a slamming time. Watch, I'm gonna get like fucked up over here. There's gonna get all the boats. I'm gonna get fucked up. I should have fucking invited some of you fucking retards and get a fucking diplomacy game. And then betrayed you on air. Soon there will be war. Soon. When this is over, non-nuclear combat is prohibited. Okay, pause. So, goddamn. So, if you look down here, non-nuclear combat is occurring in slow motion. I'm sure that there might be, so there should be possible non-nuclear combat occurring over here. I can't see the bots non-nuclear combat against each other because this is a free-for-all game. So, I'm going to launch some fighters out here. So, the idea is I'm going to launch a handful of fighters, and they're going to come down and help these battleships deal with the main American fleet. My strategy here is, like, I haven't played this game for a while. I'm a fucking retard. The selfish stream? How's this a selfish stream? Anyway, so I'm like a fucking retard. I'm going to fuck this up, but hopefully I'll use these battleships to knock it off. Then I'll just, whatever remains of my carriers, I'm just gonna fucking first strike the shit out of America and annihilate their fucking asses. Okay, let's kick it in the high gear. Watch some what is that? Like vet church graphics? I don't know. Like really early 70s, 80s graphics fighting. Battle. Speak about politics, meta politics. Oh, you want me to talk about Julius Evola? Talk about politics, not a boomer game stream. What is this? You attacking me? I didn't see it. Like, the thing was low. Okay, talk about Julius Evola. Okay, I've never read Julius Evola. Or Julius Evola. I have a friend who, like, considers Julius Evola like one of his primary influences. I've never read anything he ever said. Tell you the truth, I have this book. It's like right-wing critics of American conservatism or something like that. It's a really good book, just getting little vignettes about what all these people believe. And this is part of the reason I played this game, so I could go in slow motion like that, so I could talk to you guys. I might play Hearts of Iron 2 later. We'll just see how long it takes me to get tired of this. We might be playing Sonic again. I've never played Advance Wars. So, when I read that book, it talked about Evola, and to tell you the truth, I've never fucking laughed harder in my life when I read The Life of Julius Evola. Just like Julius Evola chose never to have children because he couldn't find a woman good enough for him, or like he lived single all of his life in dignity, or like it would have like lines like that. And then there was like this part where Julius Evola decided there was a bombing raid because he's living in Germany, and the fucking bombardiers are going over, and he's just literally just sitting there. Yeah, well, you want me to play Sonic, you fucking fag? You want to see fucking furry butt porn? You fucking faggot. Anyway, so Julius Evola is just like, hey, look, a bombing raid. I better go outside and contemplate the deeper natures of life. So the fucking nigga actually went outside and walked in the middle of a goddamn bombing raid. And lo and behold, he became permanently crippled because of it. Then, like, Nuremberg and all the fucking war trials and everything happens, and they're like, oh, Julius Evola, are you responsible for all the crimes of fascist Italy? And Julius Evola is like, and they're like, Julius Evola, are you a fascist? He's like, no, I'm a super fascist. Yeah, I need to read him just because of the line, no, I am a super fascist. So, apparently I had no idea, but there is a Senate election in fucking Netherlands today, and the brand new party, which is to the right of Geert Wilders, won. It gained 10 seats from 0, Forum for Democracy, and it's like the Dutch version of Alternative for Deutschland, so that's good. I don't know how the fucking Senate works in fucking Dutchland, okay? I don't know what to tell you guys. That's all I know. I just looked up, gain 10 seats, Forum for Democracy. It's in Dutchistan. So that's all I have to say about it. Yes, he declared innocent because he was a super fascist! Exactly like a Super Saiyan. Because, as Argent says, the ideology isn't Evolaism. It's Evolatism. God bless Evola. God bless that man. So, I've been reading Kerry Bolton's biography about Yaki. Yaki was a great man. He's literally fucking so goddamn Nazgul. He fucking... So, you know, Mosley is like... Mosley's like straight up like, we can't ally with them. We gotta ally with America against those godless what do they call them? I'm fucking retarded. The godless Mongol heathens. They're going to destroy Europe and the West. And then Yaki, because he's gonna fucking straight up, apparently, he was gonna give fucking Mosley fucking Imperium. He's like, hey, I wrote this 600-page manifesto. It's about, like, Oswald Spengler and how the West is gonna go into its final epoch, and the epoch of the United Imperium of Europa, where the Caesars will rise. I want you to use it. So anyway, then Mosley's like, hey bro, America will protect us from communism. He's like, no, fuck America, and fuck the Jews that run America. And he's like, Nazmo, baby! And he's like, real Nazis support the Soviet Union! And Yaki broke up with Mosley, and Mosley was like, the entire fucking Union, what is the Union movement at that time, is like, oh, Mosley, we love you. Or not Mosley. Well, obviously Mosley love you. Like, Yaki, we love you. You're just random guy that comes across and tries to make decides to say that the Holocaust never happened. And then Yaki's like, no, fuck you, Mosley. I don't care. Soviet Union, fuck yeah. Kind of amazing, if you ask me. Oh, you know what? Let's see if I can pre-launch some bombers and, like, put them deep here. And then if we're just in slow motion, right, I can launch the bomber. See, there's a Gook fighter, an Asian fighter. Sorry. I'm sorry. We don't talk about our brothers that way. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know, Chris, I don't know that much about Ebola. That's literally all I know. I know I need to read him. He's a fucking madman. He's a super fascist. I need to read him. What the fuck is a hex game, super basic news? I'm talking about it's a union movement after World War II. Not, the British Union fascists was pre-World War II. After he got interred and everything, he started the Union movement, which is about, you know, based European Union stuff, cucked European Union. The bomber probably just got blown up. The music, the opening is always going to be NKVD Slobla. I mispronounced that, but it will always be the opening. Comrade Chris, what should I read first? Give me book suggestions. So today I got, so there's a big mass sale on Barnes and Noble's going on. It's just like if you buy over $60 of books, you get 15% off. And Barnes and Noble has Dugan, and it has a lot of Arcos, and Arcos is one of my favorite publishing houses. It has some of Carrie Bolton stuff, has Dugan stuff, has some Spangler, you know, Alan B. Twist, I don't know, fucking Guy Fye or whatever the fuck his goddamn name is. A bunch of, you know, base stuff. So you can order all that through Barnes and Nobles. It's cheaper than their actual website, and a lot of that stuff is already banned on Amazon. So being a capitalist shill here for the international order of the collapsing brick and mortar stores is a pretty good deal. Barnes & Noble is actually in many ways superior. Barnes & Noble online is superior to Amazon, but whatever. I don't want a blowjob. I want to be pure, like Evola was pure, motherfucker. You think I'm a fucking you think I'm a fucking Gamma boy? I'm a motherfucking Delta. I took fucking Fox Day's test. It told me I was a normal average motherfucker and not a loser like you. I don't need to have a mission to have a blowjob tonight because I'm an average motherfucker. I'm not a romantic, fat, worthless Gamma. I'm a based ass and average motherfucking Delta, honey. So, I think I destroyed America's Pacific Fleet. We'll see if, like, the Indian Fleet comes up. What do I think of Savonarola? Well, I've thought about renaming my channel Savonarola. My fucking profile picture and background right now are Savonarola. You think I don't like Savonarola? Savonarola was a hero that we got that we didn't deserve, and we betrayed his ass. And he went fucking Protestants are like, he was a proto-Protestant, and the fucking savior from the north was Martin Luther. No! The savior from the north was France, honey. I have the trilogy of Kevin MacDonald's books. I just haven't read it yet. Again, I'm reading about the decline and collapse, the dissolution, as the tankies would say, of the Soviet Union. Gotta go up here with the mouse. So I'm reading about the dissolution of the Soviet Union and the collapse. Okay, so the fighter's on like auto defense here. Okay, so there's naval bomber there. Maybe the other bomber got shot down. So I'm just gonna, when it starts, I'm gonna use my bombers off of here, off these carriers, and off the air bases, the first strike Asia and fucking North America. And then I'm going to just sit there at the ICBMs and just wait while you guys yell at me to do something, and I'm going to try and swing down my subs to knock out South America. What do I think about France? Well, I just played a fucking French black metal band. You think a man can listen to French black metal and not fall in love with France? No, he cannot. When I think about where France is now, I can only weep. I can only weep where France is now. The thoughts on Edward the Eighth. Is Edward... if I'm remembering correctly, Edward the Eighth was the guy that like married a divorcee from America, correct? Answer me if I'm correct. He married a divorcee from America. Okay. How do I put this? I'm forgetting names now. It's too late, but how do I put that? Okay, so he should have been more firmly pro-Britain after the war actually started. You're gonna call me a cuck, but Lord Haha, fuck that guy. If you're actively at war with the country, I know Yaki fucking draft dodged and everything, but if you're actively at war with a country, you can't join that. If you're a traitor, you're a traitor, motherfucker. And he should have been more hard behind Britain. Now, obviously, he was outmaneuvered and he was forced out, and they chose was it his brother or his cousin or whatever that couldn't speak and was like an invalid. Yeah, obviously, like, what does it matter he married a divorcee when the fucking whole entire monarchy has to do with Henry VIII and all this fucking stupid bullshit, but whatever. Was de Gaulle based? I'm like, I don't know enough about de Gaulle to give a definitive answer here. I know Dan Root hates de Gaulle and sees the betrayal of Algeria as one of like the greatest mistakes of the 20th century, and it's the end of like Africa. Okay, first strike time, baby. First strike time. First strike. Did you hear that? Oh, I gotta shit. Okay, let's do a first strikey here. Take out the radar, motherfucker. Take out the radar, motherfucker. Take out Delhi. Take out these fucking Chinese cities. Take out Tehran. Take out Kabul. There's no cities in Central Asia, but Central Asia is not part of Russia, so I don't get it. Take out Bombay. So first strike is commencing. I'll order a bomber to take out this radar here. And I'm gonna go run upstairs and get some more food. Or more beer, sorry. Isn't Jack the Ripper supposed to be a Pollock? So you guys can watch my first strike and see how bad it is. Gotta get up here to... Let's watch the first strike. Let's see if you guys can see if it's... Tell me if it's successful, my first strike on Asia. I'm probably gonna fuck up. I'm back. Did my first strike fail? It looks like it failed. Did all the fucking bombers get shot down? Yeah, I'm sure he wanted a non-aggression. Ooh. Nukes are going off. Subs are going off down here. Let's launch. Fucker. Okay, it's like barely begun. Hey, let's see over here. Edward wanted a non-aggression pact. Yeah. Yeah, I know. But pretty much all I know about Edward the Eighth is what I listened to on Myth of the 20th Century. I haven't read, pretty much all I know about British fascism and British anti-war movement, I know from what I've read about Yaki. South America is already launching nukes against America here. What I know about from Yaki and what I know about from Myth of the 20th Century, the podcast, which is an amazing podcast, by the way. I don't know. Hitler was being really aggressive really fast, dude. They gave a bunch of guarantees to Poland, so... He believed that it wasn't worth it to start another war. It wasn't worth it to start another war. Do 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 do. Let's kick it up a notch here a little bit. Fighter got shot down. See, I'm trying to knock these out first so I can do a counter counter. I want to destroy their counter force first, and then do counter value. But maybe I should just for points you get counter value, but I kind of want to kill their counter force first. But whatever. Tell us more about the decline of lay American Empire, Grandpa Boomer. So, once upon a time, after the Civil War, the United States started taking in immigrants from Eastern Europe. Some of these immigrants from Eastern Europe, in fact a great subpopulation, were Jews. Since the United States hadn't... I'll just get the book and fucking straight up read it right now. It's so based. So based. Let's just fucking straight up read. Let's just sit here, have a Proclamation of London reading stream right now. This is some fucking high quality streaming right now. I'm looking in a goddamn book to read, to quote. Okay, this is Kerry Bolton, so this isn't Yaki himself. Liberalism provided a battering ram for the Jews to enter public life in Western civilization. Thanks to the revolts against the traditional order, the Jewish specter and the money changer became dominant over Europe. The Jews, by their own option, however, remained a closed organism inside an open one. Later in the 19th century, Jews were able to enter the United States of America without the burden of that tradition which they sought to destroy in Europe. because a cultural colony cannot have the same spiritual profundity and continuity of the mother soil of its culture. This culminated in 1933 with the assumption of the presidency of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Why is everyone calling me Grandpa? I don't fucking get what's all this fucking Grandpa business. Why you call me Grandpa, son? Is 25 really that fucking old? Look, none of my nukes are fucking working tonight. Oh. Am I hitting Tehran? No, the AI is like hitting Tehran. Okay, I knocked out that radar. Let's knock out this one. Oh, look! A giant ass fucking war here. Cool. I'm fucked. Because I didn't watch it because I was fucking running around like a retard. I don't know where to start off with the decline of the United States. So, obviously the United States reached the peak of its power after World War II. It became in a certain sense, a global hegemon. Obviously, there were the socialist camp, which was opposed to it, which split in half, and the Sino-Soviet split. I mean, I could talk about, like, I don't know how, like, good I am to talk about something like the idea of the Atlanticist civilization or something stupid like that. But okay. Anyway, so the United States became a fucking, super. Well, to be honest, the United States became a superpower. The United States was the most powerful country in 1918. And I know that they didn't necessarily have the tip-top technology in 1918. But the ability to put hundreds of thousands of soldiers from the United States into the mud of France. This is a good game to do this with. Just slowly nuclear wars going on in the background. I can use the map for a lecture. So the ability over a few months to a year to transport hundreds of thousands of soldiers into the mud of France, and good quality European genetically European soldiers, really set the United States up as a great power. Obviously, at that point, in terms of total size, not necessarily industrial ability to create such a navy, the United Kingdom was greater in naval capacity than the United States. But the United Kingdom, was ahead. That controlled all this stuff in Africa that didn't matter. Multiple times as many people in the subcontinent, and all the, like, Burundi and all the Malaysia and all this random shit down here and random shit over here. Anyway, basically, the UK couldn't go as far because the UK is really wasting all its resources. What the UK really needed is, like, Gibraltar, Singapore, Hong Kong. Yeah, actually Hong Kong is a city in here. I can nuke it later. Let's look at nukes, what nukes are left. So I wasted all of my stuff trying to get first strike on the Asians. I hit Tehran, though, I'm pretty sure. I think I can just go straight down into India, looks like. Let's take out Kabul there. So, the United Kingdom, I think that empires are a drag. And the thing you have to realize is the United States never had to have an empire drag it down. So, United States really rose up as a power hegemonically on the world stage in 1918. I know you have to realize is that Germany was intact to a certain extent. Like not, it was never overrun. It just kind of got the curse of like the Versailles Treaty, but it wasn't really overrun. The Soviet Union, holy shit, cut off, large parts of Western Ukraine, half of Belarus. They lose all the Baltic states, lose their Polish territory, lose Finland. Suffer World War One. I think that they had one of the higher per capita death losses. Then they do the Civil War, which is worse. Then during the Civil War and at the end, the ending phase of the Civil War, the consequences of the Civil War led to a famine. So the Soviet Union was all fucked up. In France took a lot of casualties. So the United States kind of premier great power. I don't think they're not gonna fucking save me. So I might as well just fucking kill what's left here. Let's strike some Mexican targets. So anyway, United States doesn't really, from a rational point of view, the United States has no real reason to be involved in Europe with NATO, has no real reason to have allies. The fucking mouse got stuck at the bottom screen. So it has no reason to be in South Korea and Japan and Philippines. It's kind of natural for it to be in the Pacific, but not, overwhelmingly natural. So it just kind of returned to be the hegemon of the Western Hemisphere, which is the natural place of the United States. But as we know, and FDR came to power and some vocal stupid shit happened. Anyway, so the United States rose to, so France, Germany, it's split here. Germany got all fucked up. France got all fucked up. And then England's like, time to cuck. So America emerges as a superpower. But, as I read before, it's got a little brain trust. Little brain trust of some chosens right up in here. Start some cultural distortion, which, some WASPs. The WASPs, they don't know how to deal with it. They start birth controlling themselves. So now you got a culture war between the Catholics and the Jews and the American Empire. And then, all of a sudden, something weird happens to the Catholics. And Vatican II and the sexual revolution. And what do you know it? The Jews are in charge of everything. So once that happens, they need to make everything like them and create a multicultural society. And they build their multicultural society. And they're like, hey, it would be great. Look, I got the mouse scrolling. It would be great. Y'all right here, y'all, came up in here. We'll just destroy all the labor, We'll just have cheap labor. So, that was pretty cool, I think these are fucked, so I might as well just launch the bombers to get them out. So I can try and strike. I'm not losing, I'm in the middle. And the United States started declining. Obviously, it got more severe when you get to the 90s and everything. Who's William Dudley Pelly? Oh, the Silver Legion? I don't know that much about the Silver Legion. Obviously, they're LARPers, okay? Mosley was a LARPer. Obviously, they're LARPers. But, interesting. I wanted to read his book for a while. The Union. I'm in loves with immigration. Well, Victory of Valhalla. Do you have a nice based Mexican GF? Is that why you're in favor of immigration? Okay, why is the United States declining? Okay, so the United States took in a lot of these people, and then in the 70s, the United States started a affirmative action program. There's some nukes going off over in there. Okay, so United States started affirmative action programs, right? Um, and the importation of other people, plus the wasps start killing themselves, and the dysgenic process of I have 130 IQ, my wife has 120 IQ. Let's have some kids. Oh, we have 1.5 kids on average. Hey, I'm a 90 IQ and my wife is a 85 IQ. Let's have some kids, and we have 3.5 kids on average. And this starts building over generations when you have this industrial society. Um, it just kind of leads to brain drain, and this is just made worse with equality quota systems, where it leads to a brain drain system. So we talk about how the Concorde flights, they can't get I'm probably saying the wrong word, but the flights of the supersonic double Mach jets can't get across from the UK. They've shut them down from the UK to the United States now. Why? You know, there's just too much stuff going on. Why they can't complex things. The United States can't get to the International Space Station by itself. The United States can't land on the moon. The United States is having a tritium problem because of how do you put the hum. The idea is like the beehive mind. The intellectuals, by the quota system, affirmative action, and the general process of dysgenics in industrial society, the quality of the elites is declining. Furthermore, America never had any real concept of a aristocracy or anything, right? So whoever gets money, so you could have like a basketball player get money and send his kids into college, right? Or some like crazy shit like that, and they become part of the elite. It does. It's just so you have a brain drain problem, and once you have that, you have diminishing returns with the ability to operate complex systems. So, if we talk about wars in the Middle East, here I can't zoom with that. So, when we talk about wars in the Middle East, oftentimes we talk about the weakness of Arab armies. Um, Arab armies aren't able to build a structure of leadership which can approximate Western, which is superior to East Asian or East Asian leadership in the military. They're very weak. In fact, Libya invaded Chad. Is this Chad or is that Car? I think this is Niger and this is Chad. Yeah, because it's in the game. It's in the Cold War. So this is divided territory they fought over. Libya tried to conquer Chad. Libya had all this equipment from the Soviet Union. You know, it had like T-64s and T-62s and T-55s. And they're fighting against fucking black tribesmen who, according to racial science, the Libyans should have IQs in the 80s and these guys should have IQs in the 70s. These guys are all organized under a central government. These are like tribesmen. This is actual central government. Probably running under like a medieval, no, beyond that. A fair amount of centrality. Libya was the highest, outside of white-run Rhodesia and white-run South Africa at the time. Libya was the most advanced society in Africa, really. And they got beaten by Chad, the Chadians, based Chadistan. So anyway, the structure, the honeybee, I'm sure I'm not making any sense. The structure of the honeybee IQ leads to a leadership structure which is very non-innovative and which cannot operate on its own. See, Arab armies are subservient to the lead general, the leader. They're based off of loyalty, and you have this thing where you hide information. So when you have a decline in the general intelligence there, we're going to see the leadership class of the United States start to be something like the leadership class of the military of Libya was. So if you read the elite newspapers, Washington Post, what they really believe, the Nation, the New York Times, they become this massive echo chamber, and you see memes like Alexander Dugin is puppet stringing Donald Trump and Putin, and he's, that'd be fucking amazing if Dugin was doing this. But these people literally believe somebody like Dugin is in control of Richard Spencer, like some kind of puppet master. There's this echo chamber that's going on, and this lowering of general kind of beehive IQ. Obviously a lot of this has to do with women and Jews, right? But it's kind of lowering everything. At the same time, the United States' foreign policy is a complete slave to the foreign policy of Israel and Saudi Arabia. Let's launch. I don't want to launch that one. Okay. I still have some nukes in the air bases. So, Saudi Arabia and Israel dictate everything, which leads to the rise of a complete, almost, a very hegemonous Jewish plurality within the American geopolitical idea of the neoconservatives. Neoconservatism was originally about it was very statist at the beginning. So when you see in the 60s and 70s, the original neoconservatives, some of you guys might read it and you might not think it's that stupid, but Jews and Saudi bootlickers eventually just took control of everything and became this vulgar support of Israel and this vulgar support of Saudi Arabia. And these people are overwhelmingly picked not off of any kind of meritocracy, but based off of what they can do, who their connections are, like some kind of because it's dominated by a few ethnic groups, so it's based overwhelmingly on what those ethnic groups can do for each other and not what they can really do for the country in any meaningful way. How am I trying? They don't have any meritocracy to them, so they'll be as inept to say that they can sell a carrier strike group. The mouse would fucking work. Past the Kerch Strait in water that's like 60 feet deep in the wherever it is in the entire Sea of Azov here, the entire carrier strike group would run aground. But they're so inept and so nepotistic that are unable to understand very basic geography. And they say we need to put a carrier strike group to show that Crimea is belonging to Ukraine. These people really say we need to put a carrier strike group in the Sea of Azov. And when the honeybee IQ of the nation declines, it becomes very scary when you think of somebody like Hillary Clinton, who says we need to have a no-fly zone in Syria, because the Democrats and the Republicans, we think the Republicans are dominated by the foreign policy and neoconservatives, right? Then the Democrats and the Republicans, other than who they would appoint as presidents to the Supreme Court and the Republican support of gun rights, those are the two differences between the parties. Both are economically neoliberal and geopolitically neoconservative. Both of them advocate bombing Syria. Both of them advocate crazy stuff. Like McCain wanted an active military intervention in Georgia. The nigger would have fucking started World War III right there according to his rhetoric. Hillary Clinton would have started World War III according to her rhetoric. Of course, that's just her rhetoric. But who knows what they would have actually done? I mean, she had seizures and crazy stuff. McCain had a tumor. A very serious tumor. Okay, I'm reading some of you guys' comments. I'm just fucking ranting now. What do I think about Canada? I think that Anglo-Canada is doomed. I should just launch the ICBMs at this point. I'm at the slowest mode, so let's get a first strike. Hit Europe. I don't even care. I'm gonna lose, so whatever. I think that Anglo-Canada is doomed. And I think that once you accept Protestantism into your system, I think your society, for the most part, is fucked. This Protestantism is a too individualistic religion, and that once you accept it into your society, you're pretty much fucked. Maybe I'm being retarded here, but anyway, I think that the Quebecois can have a hope. The new guys started a party. If they start like Feroza, like the Italia Feroza party, not the wrong party. Sorry, 5-star movement type of party. If that guy, the new guy, I don't know his name. If his party is a general populist movement, is like the 5-star movement, and Quebec becomes independent, I believe Quebec can survive. I don't think that Anglo-Canada has no identity. Quebecois at least have their language. Anglo-Canada becomes nothing more than the hat of the United States. They have nothing. Here, I'm just clicking around. Sorry, guys. Just trying to do a first strike, sorry. I'm just trying to do an all-out strike and just kind of rolling the dice right now. I don't know. You guys might completely disagree with me about... I just think that if one part of Canada can survive, I think it's the Quebecois. Call me a fucking retard. I think that they have way more hope than Anglo-Canada. Because Anglo-Canada amounts to being nothing more than the United States' hat. In a real, meaningful sense. I mean, a lot of their centers of population are just completely overwhelmed. Okay, let's turn it up and just see, like, how bad I'm gonna fail here. Everybody else is launching. See my nukes go down. Let's put it... destroy their radio. I'm launching bombers down here and to hit, like, corpse cities. Okay, I'm gonna look at the comments now, so I'll slow it down. Let's scroll to the bottom. What do people... Canadian balkanization soon. Do I think China will take over Canada? Yes. I mean, how much... Like, maybe it's only, like, a 1/6 of Vancouver. But the Chinese really act as a single unit, and they're buying up a lot of stuff. And China, I mean, Canada is really just... Canada is a proxy for Chinese economic warfare against the United States. So, Peter, I attended a traditional Latin Mass last night. I prefer it, but sometimes I'll go with my family members who are very... boomer Novus Ordo to their Novus Ordo, just because, you know, you love them, you want them to see their soul saved, even if they're really, really heretical. It's just very important that, you know, people have eternal life to me. Somebody that, you know, is your father, your mother. Okay, let's see what other questions we have here. Okay, it's gonna spin around when I try to get down on the other monitor and look at your guys' questions, but I got it to not spin. Let's look at the questions. So I think this is like this chat has got we got a lot of people in this stream. What about, so you're talking about city sanitation and the idea that if you're in a, is that what Vox Day? I like Vox Day, but I have to read his books. I can't read his vlog. I can watch Vox Adversity videos, but I was trying to watch a dark cast and he just, I'm sorry, I like him. I like him a lot. I love the one book I read. I've listened to the audiobook twice. Cuck Servant. That book is outstanding. I love that book. But goddamn, the guy fucking brags about his fucking Mensa paper. Motherfucker. So a lot of times I don't like to dodge into his fucking quote bombs and shit on his blog. I like him, I respect him, but hopefully, do you mean by sanitation? Like how California is getting typhus and stuff? Obviously, that I believe, like, if you can't, we'll know how far the United States declines when, well, it's already beginning. So many people buy bottled water in California, right? So we already can see where it's going. But when you really can't drink the bottled water or the sink water in California, you know that that state has fallen. I mean, California is pretty fucked. So you wanted to ask specifically what I think about decline. How will the United States decline? So, when I read the Kerry Bolton quote, I have Irish extraction, right? So let's go. I don't know which part of Ireland I'm from, if I'm from Ulster or other parts. So when I think about Ireland, what you got to remember about that is that if I was Irish and I lived in a town, even if I lived in Dublin, my people, my family, these people down the line have always been living in Ireland for thousands and thousands of years. So I'm really connected to that land. I know what it is to be Irish. But once I move, to the United States over here, I'm not connected to the land anymore. And it really creates a sense of individualism that is more exaggerated than anywhere else in the world because of this breakage from the land. So I really believe on a deep sense that Americans are not, they have no immunization against multiculturalism and against third world mass immigration. It's just really bad for them. And it just is, I think it's across Latin America. I don't know, I don't have the data on me, but many parts of Latin America before were whiter than they are now. Brazil, obviously, during the 1960s and the 50s, is where the United States is today. The United States is just going through the same trends that Latin America did 100 or 50 years ago. Sure, some of them got whiter from European immigration, as did the United States. The United States' future will be the future, or the currently what we see in Mexico and what we see in Argentina. Probably more like Argentina and Chile than what we see in a warmer place like Central America. It'll be more like Mexico and Argentina than Guatemala, but that is what the United States will be like in the future. That is how I see the decline. I think that we'll see a system when the United States declines. The United States power will not just stop from retreating from Western Europe and from Japan and Korea and the Philippines and all that. The United States' power will start to decline and its influence in Latin America itself. And when that happens, there will be a lot more conflict. It will be like Latin America before the United States rose to power, say, in World War I, to be the absolute hegemon of the hemisphere. That will be the future of the United States. The United States will be like the post, and all of Latin America will be like the immediate period after the secession of Spain, with people like Rosas in Argentina or Santa Anna of Mexico. Those will be your leaders of America. America will just be a continuation of Latin America. Just instead of being in Portuguese and Spanish, it will be in English. That is the future I see for the United States. And I mean, I guess, like, you know, like military dictatorships or something, there's like positive there, right? You know, grabbing at straws there, but let's take out Tokyo. Seoul. I click multiple cities because I expect some of these to be shot down. Let's go back down into the chat here. Yeah, Dixie had an aristocratic ideal, but what I mean is that the state has to reinforce the culture. You can't have a state which doesn't reinforce the religion. Any state which doesn't actively do its duty to reinforce the religion and the culture of the society is going to lead to a secular society. Obviously, Dixie got destroyed, so the aristocracy there got destroyed. But the state has to actively foster that aristocracy and that culture, that religion. If you don't actively foster a religion, you're going to create a secular society, for instance. So, I mean, you guys get to watch a lot of slow motion Defcon. Such an exciting, visually speaking stream. I mean, okay, Eric. So what is a more functional state? Gaddafi's Libya or Chad? Sorry, I don't mean... I meant Libya had a lot of central authority. I don't mean to be mean like that. Yeah, okay, so you're talking about... So in losing military hegemony, or whatever he calls it, the Russian guy talks about... so you're talking aircraft carriers becoming obsolete today like battleships in the 1940s. I cannot speak. I am not a naval strategist. We will see when we have a new naval war. We will see. Here, let's go back to super speed for a little bit. So we got the arc of my nukes, and they're coming down. Oh, got shot above London. Got shot down above London. Berlin got hit by me. I'm winning over here, by the way. Oop! Manchester got hit. Ooh, Paris got hit, baby! So, I think my arcs are ending, though. But I'm in the lead of points. Oh, I hit Tokyo. Okay, the Asians are launching, so let's take down their counter, not counter, I'm being retarded, sorry. Let's hit their counter value. Now it's in final launch mode. I'm not gonna really be able. I don't know if I hit. Okay, I can hit some counter value or counter targets here. Counter force, sorry. I'll hit some counter value too. Everybody's just trying to get their nukes out before the game ends now. Try and get to Africa. Let's see what's happening as my stuff getting through East Asia. Yeah, it looks like I'm fucking slapping East Asia around. Or not East Asia, it's just called Asia proper, but because I'm Russia, it should be like South Asia. Okay, a lot of most of this white, I believe, is my white. Everybody's launching all that they have. I got these out down here, and we'll see what happens. It's probably going to go to the countdown timer, and they're not going to be positioned well enough to hit anything of any value. Europe's just getting fucking wrecked here. Okay, let's see if we can launch, destroy. Destroy. I'm trying to destroy these things so that they can't protect. I can't. Oh, I can pull this. I'm winning by. Oh, the victory timer's going down. I'm winning by a massive margin here. Africa's doing number 2, I think. Or no, who's number? Oh, South America is doing the second best, so we'll just strike them over here. Let's try and hit what we can. South America. I like wrecked a lot of what they got. Yeah, it's Bomber talking about me like, let's talk about the video game. Yeah, let's talk about the video game. I'm a fucking boomer. I'm a boomer boy. Okay, let's go back to the chat. You know, I don't like Lord of the Rings. I read through Fellowship of the Ring, and I finished the first Gore book. Gore, the anti-feminist S&M book. So I'm thinking about, because I got this new thing where I just force myself to just, as soon as I get off work, just go read. As soon as you get in the house, read. And just read and read and read until you eat dinner. Read. When you get home, you read. Just, you know, I got 94 pages today. Just got to get above 50 every goddamn day. So you can get smart. So I'm going to... I'm gonna burn through a lot more books than I have. So I was like a third way through Two Towers, so I'm probably gonna try and finish Two Towers. And the real reason I want to do this isn't. I want to have, if I started Lord of the Rings, I want to have it under my belt before I start Dune, because I want to read Dune really bad, and I want to be done with Dune. I want to be done with Lord of the Rings before I start Dune. So, let's see before the countdown timer ends. I want to get the subs over here and strike what's left of South America. Chile's not white. Chile is mostly mestizo, dude. Do I think China will eventually take over? I believe so. How do I put this? So when you watch boxing games, a boxing match, the black guy in a boxing or an MMA, when you go to a bar and you're getting some drinks and MMA or boxing is on the TV, I always root for the white guy, right? I always root for whoever the white guy is fighting. Or, you know, if it's an Arab guy versus some Asian guy, I root for the Arab guy because the Arab guy is closer to me, you know. So on and so forth. The black guy always roots for the black guy. So, I see the United States is done. And this is part of this channel. Russia has chosen a path where it will be Russia until past 2100. It'll be the Russia of the Romanovs. It will be the Russia of the Soviet Union. It will be ethnically Russian. Therefore, ethnically Northern Caucasian. I root for Russia the same way that the African, the black in America roots for whatever black is boxing or whatever black is in MMA. Worldwide, I root for Russia. Russia has a lot of disadvantages compared to China or whatever states will emerge out of China and Japan. But this explains the channel to a certain... I'm getting nuked here. Hopefully I don't drop too far down. I still got some nukes, but I can only really nuke US with those nukes. So I root for some kind of new Neo-Eurasia for my own race. I know that sounds vulgar and crude, but it's true. If France could pull out, I don't think Germany can pull out. If France somehow pulls out and they deport people, I would root for France probably above Russia, to be honest. That country's a fucking hellhole, man. Fuck those motherfuckers. They're doomed. Fuck those assholes. They're fucked. Anyway, yeah, I kind of view it like that. On a naturalistic level, if China maintains itself in a dynastic system as a unified polarity, there will be a worldwide Chinese imperium. That being said, I do not think that... I think that eventually we'll run out of energy. I think the entropy of IQs will eventually deplete East Asian society, just as it depleted the West, without the need of mass third world non-Northeast Asian, non-Northern Caucasian immigration. I think that they'll be depleted to a point that they will not be able... Because I eventually believe we'll get to a point where we won't be able to operate nuclear reactors, to be honest, with intelligence decline. I wish against hope, but I'm an optimistic what is it? A courageous pessimist, is that what Spengler called it? I don't think... I've been thinking of making a Nazgul video about... So you're asking if I think that Juche... You're gonna have some kind of, like, Juche for the United States. I've been thinking about this for a long time and making some kind of Nazgul video about this. I I said Nazgul video. I want to rename the channel. I thought about something to do with Savonarola. Other people have suggested some kind of renaming of a, socialism and nationalism, some kind of idea of a name. I don't have anything yet, but we'll come up with a name later. But I really don't, and I don't hate the United States. I don't have some kind of Imperium Yachian opinion of the United States as a degenerate society, which is, I mean, there's a certain kind of truth to where, like, the United States is a, imperialist cultural thing, and it's imposing, gay marriage on Taiwan or whatever. But I really like the the idea of the manifest destiny is the most awesome idea in world history to me. To be honest, it is one of the most awesome ideas in world history. If the Americans can manifest that somehow, America can survive. But I really think of a post-America, or America becoming a very decentralized, uninfluential geographic entity. That America will, because of the racial aspects, decline into being non-influential without its borders. And that European Americans and African Americans, I hate saying this, European and African Americans, but so on and what have you, will be just people living within their states, which are just connected to the outside world. I don't see America being a real great power, or having anything to unify it to the United States. Really. Nazgul Gang is a really good name, but the problem is that because you have Nazgul Gang, people assume that you're just a Marxist-Leninist that's socially conservative. And I'm not a Marxist-Leninist. That's the problem with the Nazgul Gang name. And I've gotten in fights with friends of mine that say you're a communist apologist. And that's true from a revisionist perspective. Like, I guess I'm a communist apologist there. But I'm not a Marxist-Leninist. And when I have that audience, I mean, I love my Marxist-Leninist fans, you guys, but I'm really a third positionist. I'm not a Marxist-Leninist who's just socially conservative. I take inspiration. In a lot of ways, there was a lot of superiority with Marxism-Leninism over the Western systems, but I'm not a Marxist-Leninist. And that's kind of the problem. Maybe I'll just keep it Nazgul Gang. I removed the flag vids, moved them onto another channel. I might make more flag vids and put them on the other channel. In my heart of hearts, the flag vids are really cringy, and those videos were just for fun, and I never thought that I would break 100 subscribers. Those were just for close personal friends that I had on Facebook that I was really sharing with. I never thought I would have... I'm almost 1,200 subscribers. I never thought I would be here right now. Should the world go back to bolt-action rifles as the main military arm? Damn right they should! That's so based. South America, you want to take me down? You want to take me down, South America? So we'll see when these subs swing over who is the real master of Eurasia. Who's the real master of nuclear warfare. Nazgul Gang is an outstanding name. Because it's a meme, and it's a meme that has never really died. It goes up in fire, and it goes down in fire, and everything. So that's why I think a lot of the reason why I get subs. I tend to think I'm a piece of shit and I don't make good vids, but a lot of the reason is I did jump on to a meme name, and people type in the meme really there, and then I'll get their subs when they see my videos. The distributist isn't a distributist. What is it? Is he... What it... what does distributist mean? Explain how he's not a distributist to me. So, Adam Phillips, so as a species, we need to find a stable way to raise IQ through genetic manipulation. Is this like the number one problem facing humanity? Um, Energy scarcity is the number one problem in facing progress from a materialistic standpoint. Then IQ decline dysgenics. Uh, that's if you're a materialist. I'm not a materialist. I'm a Platonist. I'm a Catholic Platonist. Scholastic Platonist. So I see the world in terms of ideas and of forms and of ultra realism. So a spiritual rebirth, the decline of spirituality, is the main problem. Not just facing the West, but most salient in the West. The main problem for the entirety of humanity is the decline of its spirituality. And as a Catholic, I believe that Catholicism is the true way, which will save you. But really, you need to have a spiritual rebirth. The elite, the aristocracy of you, they need to be spiritually revived. They need to not be in a world of nihilistic degeneracy and see their lives of having a true transcendent value. And when smart people see their lives as having a true transcendent value, they will have children again. And it will be very good for society as a whole. I'm just trying to get this swing around. Let's kick it up a notch. Let's kick it up a notch. I'm going to try and pause it around 20 or 15 minutes or whatever. I don't know if that's hours or minutes in this game. I got to read the fine print to see that. Okay, so that's minutes. There's still nukes here. Oh, I can hit South America. Let's chop around. Okay, so I'm just gonna kick it up a notch. I think I'm gonna play some World in Conflict after Defcon here. Should I continue with Defcon, or you guys want me to do World in Conflict? I've been talking too much to do something like that's more intensive, say like an Age of Empires type game. I'm gonna try and pause when we get to 15 minutes here. And I'm gonna launch. I don't think I'm gonna win. I think South America's gonna win because I think they've killed too many people. Okay. I don't see anything else with nukes. Well, there's bombers with nukes here. It doesn't really matter what I target because see if we can target Tehran. There's still some people to kill there. Okay, so it's probably gonna get airplane down, but yeah, they're getting shot down by airplanes. I think South America won. Yeah, they're gonna get fucked up. I think South America won, you guys. I lost. Yeah, South America won. Scroll down. Do you guys comment if you want me to play World in Conflict or keep up with Defcon. Looks like the time's going out. Lost. Victory to South America. I lose. Okay, so it's take Defcon out. We'll launch World in Conflict. World in Conflict. We'll just play some. I played World in Conflict last time, so I'm being a bad boy. I'm just trying to think of games which are kind of... This is slanted again. It's kind of slanted, isn't it? Why does it get slanted even when I'm doing... No matter what you do, it gets slanted. Yeah, look at it slanted. Let's go into the... You know what, I have an idea. I want to see if I can launch Hearts of Iron. Hearts of Iron 2. If Hearts of Iron 2 doesn't work, we'll go back to World in Conflict. I kind of wanted to try Hearts of Iron 2 and then play... I could play Kaiserreich, but I kind of wanted to play you guys do a Soviet Union build-up. Yeah, Shin Gojira. What did I think about Shin Gojira? Shin Gojira had outstanding special effects, but is really boring. I always thought. Let's see if Darkest Hour is slanted like World in Conflict. Let's see. It's got a black screen, guys. Still got a black screen. Oh, it's working. It's not too slanted, I guess. I don't know. I'm not good at OBS. Oh, I want to say OBS. Oh, it is OBS. I'm not the best at it. I'm sorry. I'm a bad streamer. I'm a bad streamer. I have a real hard time getting like off screen here. Because I need to pull up the chat. Okay. I have Hearts of Iron 4. I very much like corporatism. Season maybe distributors will adopt corporatism, a form of fascist perspective. I very much like corporatism. You know, if I rename this channel Corporatists, it would be kind of a bad name because a lot of my leftist viewers, because of the slant of the name Corporatist, has been ruined. Okay. I want to do a Doomsday. It would have to be a Let's Play because that is just too fucking intense. Plays the Soviet Union, you guys. It's too fucking intense. I would just want to do like a build-up here for World War II, and maybe I'll stream, or I'll do a Let's Play for World War II. I'm very bad, as you guys notice, I'm very bad at like doing commentary. So let's load this. Let's load this motherfucker. "19 people watching. 19 people! So it's loading up Hearts of Iron 2. As soon as you get the Paradox out, people are fucking showing up to watch. God bless y'all. God bless y'all. Yeah, I really do like Forgotten Hope. It is a fucking outstanding mod. The thing is like, getting Battlefield 1942 to run on a modern system, that's like a number one. It's like a number like top 5 games ever made for me. We'll move. Well, I can start the game and not. Oh, did autoplay. I don't want it to autoplay. Coming in stalling. Okay, so is my. We got clothes. We got central planning. Let's do an auto for interventionism. It doesn't matter because I think the events make it. No matter what you do, it makes it more interventionist and more hawk lobby. Yeah, corporatism is a part of Catholic thought as far back as Pope Leo XIII, so the Distributus doesn't need to go all fascist to adopt it. Is the Distributus really anti-fascist or third positionist? I don't know. I don't know him that well. I watched his Molebug video. I watched his video about Dune, his video about Lovecraft. Those 3 videos are pretty outstanding. They're really good. I know we had an interview of Argent, and Argent's, 8 times bigger, so if we have any kind of collaboration, I don't expect it, because Argent's 8 times bigger, and he's 19, 20 times bigger than me, or 18, something like that. In the teens somewhere, so I don't expect that. So, okay. I'm just choosing tech teams right now. Try not to get you're cucked on this. I mean, I've played through World War II as a Soviet Union like 20 times in this game, so. Played World War II as a Soviet Union, Germany so many times, hundreds of hours in this game. I really think this game, I don't want to get your cut because it's not 39. Get more, get your cucked on that too. Okay. This tank is your cuck. His heavy tank, no. Field artillery is your cucked. Can I get your cucked? Oh, not your cucked. I don't need really. I don't really need that much of an air force as the Soviet Union. See, I'm just gonna set up the tech team. This is why it's a good. I'm not gonna need that because I'm not gonna need fucking a navy until I invade the West after I defeat Germany. I'm not gonna really need a navy. Just build supplies. Don't need any production. Just throw everything into getting descent down. And then after because descent's really high, yeah, it's like 15%. After the purge is over, then we'll start building up. I mean, all I do is at the beginning, I'm playing on medium. All I do at the beginning is I just try to get descent down, and then I just kind of watch the world. I put We'll put no fog on, so it's not too bad on your eyes. It doesn't matter. We know what will happen. Oh, distributist is kind of like really like John Paul II Catholic, right? He doesn't like the bad optics and he speaks kind of softly. Is that what you're saying? I don't like talking about other YouTubers because I don't want to start any shit. I mean, Argent and Arini are not on good terms right now, and I don't see that as good. I don't want to talk bad about Distributist. I really like your Lovecraft and your Dune videos, bro. If he's watching that, those videos are great. A Hearts of Iron 4 plays communist in the Pacific or the Caribbean, like islands. My friend told me about Paradox games is that you learn your first you got to think of a Paradox game as an engine, and that you learn how to play with that engine. It's an engine, it's a sandbox engine. And it's not a game in the real sense. So you learn how to manipulate that engine. And you play that first engine that you know, and you don't, because it's so difficult to learn these, you don't want to learn a new engine. So I know how to run the engine of Hearts of Iron 2. I do not know how to run Hearts of Iron 3. That is some fucking hard ass shit. Kind of know how to run Hearts of Iron 4, and I like Hearts of Iron 4, but the thing about it is like, I already learned Hearts of Iron 2. It's an engine. I'll probably build factories because it's going down a lot faster than I thought it would. But once you play, you get your engine started. There's no point in starting a new engine. Because you know what you want to do. It's a sandbox. And you can use cheats, right? I turned on no fog. Right? I can put on whatever cheats I want to manipulate the game to be the history I want. Because it's just an alternate history game where you manipulate history to be what you want it to be. Thoughts? Everybody's asking me about Austrofascism. I like Dolphus as a person. I'm tired right now, and as a historian, I'm bad with names. Who is the guy that succeeded Dolphus? He's kind of like a non-entity. I don't like... Hitler was a super Chad compared to him, dude. That's what I'm just gonna say. I've not read that much about what Dolphus stood for, though. Look, I'm just gonna get Descent down. I'm not playing at fucking 100 OP level Hearts of Iron 2. So, I don't know. If I play through Hearts of Iron 2, do you guys want me to do some kind of like let's play of Hearts of Iron 2 where I just drink and I play it? Because it's kind of hard to read the chat, and I'm fucking horrible let's player, to be honest. I need a chat to be fucking play these games. Engelbart? Dolphus was probably better than Hitler. So we got 0-0. Okay, so let's step up production. Okay, so we have our base is at the base, because this is the running, because we're on complete central planning. So our base is 171. We have a bigger base than them. We have a bigger straight up economy than Germany. Are we bigger straight up economy? Well, everyone's in the Great Depression right now. Our base, so if we're going to build IC, hopefully you can get more IC than USA and be the biggest industrial power on Earth. So we'll choose 3 until... See, I'm just going to build IC until it runs out there. I don't want to go and build IC in like 40 or less. So just choose like 16% now. Put it pretty far back. Because my strategy is I I defend the Stalin line. I don't even defend the Stalin line. I don't defend here. I put all my troops behind the Dnieper. I forget what... I'm sorry, forget what river this is here. And I put all my troops behind here. And then I put a bunch of tanks behind them on each side. And then if they break through, then I put all my tank divisions and I push them back through to the Dnieper. And then I just build and build and build. And then Germany will try to advance. Because I puppet like Finland. And Germany will try to advance through Finland. And there'll be kind of like a battle around here. And then I'll take back Finland, push them back over. And eventually I'll just get enough numerical advantage. And I'll just get enough like advancement from the tech and the land doctrines that I'll be able to assault. And when I say start assaulting, usually what happens, because the Dnieper's closer here, is what happens is I push and I push, and it's just this fucking war of attrition. And then I eventually, once you knock down Romania, the war's over. You won. And when you knock down Romania, you go and you knock down Hungary, switch sides, you know, get over in here. And then once Romania really switches sides from me, the game's pretty much over. I won as the Soviet Union. So, building factories now. They've got 3 there. Can't. I don't want to. I guess it's the Volga. I mean, if they get to the Volga, I'm probably fucked. I'm not a very dynamic player. I don't... Who cares if I build infrastructure? I'm too lazy to go back into the thing and fix it. I think I was playing one time, and I completely cut them off with infantry, so they couldn't advance fast here and past Solmusk. And they just sent everything fucking through Finland. And they took, like, Moscow through Finland. I'm not even shitting you, dude. It's weird. I'm, like... I have a weird setup right now, so I'm, like, on top... I'm, like, my mouse pad is a book. So if my mouse is kind of janky, that's why. Shit, I put 7. Who cares? I'll fix it later. When we start, after the, when you get like 38, 39 is when you start, I start building up. I just want to pass the US and IC, or at least almost approach it. I mean, I'll get the 1945 Soviet Union and take, you know, the western part of Belarus and everything and reunite. You know, get Moldova and what have you. So, we'll see. I mean, by the end of the war, I'm going to have the biggest IC. The thing is in this game, is after the war, sometimes it gets, like, fucking crazy, and, like, both sides get, like, super autarky, and then, they get, like, really, like, super autarky, and then they have, like, invincible, tech, and you just kind of you go to war, and then you're stuck where you're gonna advance, and sometimes I don't know. I'm not a very good naval tactician, so if I like do this in other streams, it's not gonna go very well. Let's build, since I'm running out, let's just build it. Infrastructure, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Let's keep going. Yeah, Schultznig succeeded him. Dolphus is... People, like... I really like Charles Coulomb, and Charles Coulomb hates it when you call Dolphus a fascist. An Austrofascism, that word. Hitler was anti-Catholic, tried to wipe... Hitler was anti-Catholic, tried to wipe out... Hitler was not a neo-pagan, dude. Chris, Hitler was not a neo-pagan. I think Hitler was something of a deist. He would never be actively anti-Christian publicly. Let's at least put it like that. Hitler, you know, in table talk, he's not personally pro-Christian, but it freaked him out when Pius XI said stuff against National Socialist Party. That freaked him out. He didn't like that. What do you think about the future of Spain? Was Franco a good boy? Will they get all the conquistador shit again? We'll see what happens in the next election with Vox. The socialist minority government, despite how horrible it is, this I gotta say this because I'm Nazbol gang, right? The social democratic minority government is weak. It's not gonna last very long. There's gonna be no election. Vox is going to get in the elections. If what's happening in Austria goes into Spain, that's pretty cool. The problem is the idea of giving citizenship to non-whites. We'll see how these populist parties are able to deal with that conundrum. If they can find some kind of way, they need to get white birth rates up and not have as... Because I've talked to Hungarian people that have complained that that Hungary just kind of prioritizes, like, that their system doesn't, like, discriminate against gypsies, so the gypsies just get all the births. And the girl I was talking to might have been pretty conspiracy, but she didn't seem the smartest cookie, but who knows. Oh, shit. Why is there filthy factories on that one? What have I read from Coulomb? Oh, I can keep doing it until I need to stop. But what have I read from Charles Coulomb? I read Charles Coulomb's book on Fenianism, which was good. I've read parts of his History of the Popes. Those can be really good. I haven't read through it front to back. I should read through it front to back. I've just read through certain popes. You know, just reading through it at random. And I read Puritan Empire, which is a masterpiece. Puritan's Empire, as far as the 3 or so books I've read front to back from him, Puritan's Empire is by far the best one. Puritan's Empire is really, really good. And then I read Every Man's Call to Rome, or whatever, his first book, which is... You can tell it's just a young guy about my age that's writing a book that's like, being Catholic's pretty awesome, and like, he's not really a boomer, he's borderline boomer Xer, just like, all his friends are like unmarried womanizers or something, right? And he's just like, you need to be a Catholic, being Catholic's not that bad, you know, you gotta be traditional Catholic, and he doesn't have the spice that he would have there. He doesn't have, like, he's still somewhat humorous, but he doesn't have the charismatic kind of Coulomb, like, humor. He doesn't have the, like, where he'll be because in Puritan's Empire, he'll say, like, Isabella was a good girl, she didn't do nothing. He doesn't go really edgy. Like, he outright... So if you read Puritan's Empire, he's very supportive of the Catholic fascist movements and of corporatism. But he says it in such a way that he doesn't come across as extreme. The way that he can say things so softly and be, from my point of view, a very hard right Catholic, and he can say it so softly as not to scare away Novus Ordo Catholics. He's a master at that. But it's not there, and it's just kind of... this really flowery, and I'm tired, so I'm not remembering the right word. He just really talks about the past. It's really, like, evident that he's not a writer, and this is just an essay he turned in. Somebody saw it, they saw it as a young writer, and it's like, cool, and they published it. That's Every Man's Call to Rome, that's my opinion of it. But Puritan's Empire, 10 out of 10. The Feniite book, 8, 9 out of 10. The Civil War is happening. I'll get the thing to support. I think, if I remember, if you're playing as the Soviet Union, the nationalists win. If you play as Germany, the Republicans win unless you send massive support. I don't care if the nationalists win. It's really hard to make the... I don't see how it helps you if the Republicans win and then you spend a bunch of money to try and influence them and you have like a one... I'm going to support it. So it's kind of like if... I think you can try and get... Because I don't know that much about Brazil. So it's like left-wing radical. I've had friends in Brazil call it fascist before. I don't know that much about Brazil at this time. So I think in the game, you can influence them to 200 plus 200, and then ask them over and over and over again, and it's like a 5% chance, or even less, like 2 or 3% chance they'll eventually become allies with you. But Brazil is a worthless ally. I think it's about the same percent chance that the Republic of Spain will become your ally. But they don't really... It's just kind of a giant waste of money. But if the Republic of Spain becomes your ally, that's kind of cool, because then Germany would be set off against them. So I don't know if they become my ally. I mean, I can influence them now. But I think they have to... The more they get desperate as they lose, they start to shift away from being social liberals. He's left-wing radical. I don't know about that much about Spain, like Stalinist. I don't know that enough about Spain. You guys should support Franco. You know, the Falange is like super socialist. Like, in how I define socialist, the Falange advocated like much more socialism, and early Franco Spain was really socialist, more than because Soviet Union is really bureaucratic. Like, the most socialist regimes that ever existed, and I support these two regimes a lot, are Tito and early Franco. But you can't really do that as the Soviet Union. You're kind of in this proxy war, you know, against Italy and a little bit against Germany. Germany didn't throw as much. Like, Italy put way more weight behind Franco than Hitler did. Here, I'll be back in a second. Gotta go away from the keyboard for a second. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. You know, this game won't let me scroll off, so once you guys comment, I can't see anymore. So, I have to, like, Windows mode to, go off here. So once your comments are gone, I can't see them. Italy sent 100,000 troops. What do you think of an American monarchy developing in the aftermath of as a Platonist, I see monarchy as something that naturally develops in republican systems. So you have a monarchy developing. ironically, even though Raul Castro took over from the Castro family has a lot of power in Cuba still, regardless. Syria, obviously, Al Assad, and then in Juche land, you know, glorious Sung dynasty, the glorious Kim dynasty. So, from a Platonist point of view, democracy or monarchy will re-arise. So, yeah, I could see monarchy rising. Away from keyboard for a second again. What do I think of Metternich? I'm not that good at 19th century history, dude. I'm sorry, I can't. I don't. I'm sorry, I'm not good enough, dude. So. So. So the wars happen. Maybe. Maybe they're unprotected there. Maybe the Republic will win. It's kind of an awkward thing because these provinces are. There's troops in that one, so. Again, I'm not. I don't know that much about. Other than the basic stuff I've heard from podcasts, I haven't read enough on the Spanish Civil. Oosh, oosh, oosh! You're losing, nationalist. Looks like you're losing, Mr. Franco, man. Anyway, I don't know enough about the Civil War in Spain, to be honest. I know it sounds so inept. I'm so bad. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. What's their IC? 13 versus 24. They're Social Democrat now. Wow, that took you a while, Italy. That kind of took you a while to take Ethiopia. See, the thing is like the war has to go on for a really long time. Like it has to go on for a long time because the longer it goes on, and the more desperate they get, the more authoritarian, like left wing, according to this game, the more like Leninist they get, and the more likely they are to be your ally. As long as they're a democracy still, they're not your ally. But we'll influence them just in case, because who cares? The thing about the Soviet Union in this game, and I mean history, is you really are surrounded. You have Tunkatuva, and you have Mongolia, and that's it. You really are surrounded, and you don't really kind of... Allies don't really matter. Let's pick technologies here. So, chat, you're not asking me any questions. Nazville Gang opinion on why this... Nazville Gang, your opinion on why the Soviet Union fell. Ooh boy, why did the Soviet Union fall? An easy question to ask of you. A difficult question. Okay, so the Soviet Union fell because Gorbachev abandoned Marxism-Leninism. I'm going to make... I already have 2 videos written down on my head because I plan to make a series on the collapse of the Soviet Union. Because I'm reading a 5th and a 6th book on it right now. If the biography of Lemonov can be counted about the collapse of the Soviet Union, maybe just the 5th book. But gonna read Evil Triumphs and Socialism Betrayed pretty soon after those. But so the real is a Platonist. My understanding is that Marxism-Leninism is a theory of war, of everyone is against you. It's a millenarian theory of warfare that is intrinsically linked to having warfare against the imperialists who are always going to be against you no matter what. So you have to defeat them in a class struggle. Classes overtake nations, and the Soviet Union represents international proletariat against international bourgeoisie here. Soviet Union always had to fight them no matter what. There can be no compromise. So the Soviet Union becomes a society of war, just as the French Revolution became a society of war. It is not as pronounced within the Soviet Union what occurred with Napoleon, but the same actions occur to where you have a Caesar kind of system in the Spengler-Yakian kind of idea that arises and has like Hegelian synthesis between the new and the old. It was starting to develop under Brezhnev in the Soviet Union. Brezhnev, there were a lot of problems with him, but that starts to develop in the Soviet Union. So the Soviet Union, because of the single-party state and the authority that necessitates and the technocracy of the unifying ideal of Marxism-Leninism as a theory of war devoted to defeating the outside powers which besiege it naturally, as Lenin's concept of imperialism naturally caused the Soviet Union to be a right-wing, in your gut feeling when you understand what that society was, a right-wing society which is defined as a deeply militaristic society, which has almost universal conscription. Most people, I think even women, had military training classes in middle school and high school. Very, very militaristic society. Becomes very, very right-wing, and the gut meaning of right-wing starts to tilt because of Platonism towards the ideal of the right. And because of the system, the dual system of the party versus the state, there's this conflict there, but the party is a unifying factor. When Gorbachev came in, Gorbachev was not a Marxist-Leninist who viewed there to be a cataclysmic Leninarian conflict between, obviously at this point, not Nazi Germany and the Third Republic and Fifth Republic and the UK, but against the United States and the world imperialists. He abandoned Marxism-Leninism and became a humanist socialist. And because of the authoritarian system, and because of there was two events that created a perfect storm. Gorbachev became, obviously Gorbachev couldn't have done it without these two events that created a perfect storm. Gorbachev was a silent generation when they were all GI, what we call GI generation or greatest generation. And Gorbachev was a silent generation. And he transitioned when everybody was dying, so he got to appoint all the people that would follow him. Reappointed everything because it was at the exact time when there was a generational transfer, and he took it over and handpicked everyone to be the leadership. So Perfect Storm 1, Perfect Storm 2 gets to decapitate the military because that guy flies in the German guy, I forget the name of him, in the incident, I think it's in 86 or 87, he flies a Cessna all the way from West Germany, very, very low underneath the radar. And he lands next to the Kremlin in a Cessna. He's got deep mental illness, and he's insane. But he did this from being very low, and he flew a Cessna, so he didn't get. Nobody took him seriously when he was flying over. If he did get detected, he flew very low. He's in a Cessna. So Gorbachev saw this as his kind of casus belli to separate him from the rest. The Soviet. I should be playing play on this so we can get ahead. So that allows him a casus belli to, like Bloomberg in Nazi Germany, to just redo the entire officer corps and appoint his own people. And he pushed the Soviet Union towards humanist socialism and globalism, liberalism, multi-party democracy, and that is what collapsed the Soviet Union. Because what unified the Soviet Union was the Communist Party and what was in theory a left-wing ideology, but due to our understanding of ideal forms under Platonism, was always transforms into a right-wing ideology, Marxism, Leninism. It destroyed Marxism, Leninism as a unifying factor of the country. Nothing can hold the country together because it had such a weak constitution, because the Soviet Union was a confederacy, and the Soviet Union dissolved into its constituent republics because of the destruction of the dual system of the party and the de jure state. The party was destroyed. The party was really unified. The glue behind the Confederacy, and the Confederacy was so weak. And Gorbachev, with his insanity of neoliberal ideals and worship of humanist socialism, liberalized the Soviet economy and caused a massive economic collapse, which made him unpopular, made the Soviet Union unpopular locally, like in the United States, where the Senate, it's a reverse of the United States. The Senate and the Congress are really popular, but your local guy is not popular at all, and your local guy is really popular with you. Like the Senate has a 6% approval rating or something insane like that, but your local guys always have 50%, 60% approval ratings. Reverse happened. Everyone approves of the Soviet Union, but they want their own concessions to the Soviet Union, which dissolved the Soviet Union locally. They want their own concessions, which dissolved the Confederation. Gorbachev is the main reason for the dissolve, and he was given 2 lightning in a bottle scenarios that accelerated everything. Is China doing the Civil War right now? Look at this guy. This guy's a fucking beast, motherfucker. I love that guy. Oh, they are in a war. Yeah, they are in a war against the clique down there. Looks like the Republic's gonna win. That answers your question why you think the Soviet Union collapsed. I mean, Gorbachev's economy was exacerbated to being like, Brezhnev couldn't really do anything, and the system kind of like corrupted under him. A lot of graft developed under him. And it led into this stagnation, and what they're doing is they basically sold oil on the world market, and that they sold the oil for hard currency, then turned around and bought with the hard currency consumer goods and put the consumer goods back into the country to placate the people with butter, why they built up their military industrial complex. And to be honest, Soviet Union militarily was superior to the United States. But you have to remember, the Soviet Union did not get the best allies. The United States gets to choose Japan, France, UK, and West Germany. Soviet Union's best allies are going to be like Poland and Vietnam. Not fair. The United States, the Sino-Soviet split. People's Republic of China is against the Soviet Union. So the Soviet Union has to put all these troops to defend Vladivostok against the People's Republic of China. The United States doesn't have to do anything like that. The Soviet Union was spending Soviet Union, mind you, really was militarily superior to the United States in very many matrices. But it's spending 15% of its GDP in defense budget, and what it's doing is it was selling its oil money directly to buy consumer goods for butter war. But Saudi Arabia started selling their oil much lower, and it kind of made the whole oil thing obsolete for the meantime. And Afghanistan was dumb, right? Kind of like a grinder pit. But you have to understand, compared to the United States, I'm sure the United States is really using Afghanistan for heroin, right? For the CIA. Like, sorry to be conspiracy theorist right now. This is probably what's really happening. But, so, Tajikistan is within the Soviet Union. I believe there's more Tajikis within Afghanistan. And they're terrified of Tajikis, of Afghanistan turning into Islamist state like Iran, and the Tajikis crossing over back and forth between the Soviet Union and becoming Islamist within the Soviet Union and destabilizing the Soviet Union. That was, I mean, from like a massive geopolitical aspect, they're pretty terrified of that. And that's kind of one of the reasons why they became involved in Afghanistan. So it's not as stupid as you think it is, but it was. It's a little bit of an ulcer. It's nothing compared to America's ulcer. Like, compare it to Spain with Napoleon. It's a little bit of an ulcer. Like, I don't. They never put T-64s and T-72s, for instance, in Afghanistan. It was lower, but it was a stress on the system. Napoleon III was based, and he helped Maximilian back on the throne of Mexico. Those are the good old days. I don't remember her name, but when I read about Maximilian III, he couldn't. His wife, I don't remember her name. I'm sorry, it's late. I've been up since 4 o'clock or something, so I can't remember her name. But she couldn't have a kid, so he was actually having the grandchild of Urbate would be the successor after he died, which is kind of I always thought that was interesting. It's funny how boomers think Reagan collapsed the Soviet Union. He puts there. Reagan put stress on it, but Gorbachev had two different perfect storms at the same time, which gave him the ability to collapse the Soviet Union. Gorbachev, as a single man, given those two strokes of luck to aid him, collapse the Soviet Union. You have to get rid of the Constitution of, is it 1788? You have to get rid of the Constitution, and mind you, most of the people I meet in real life that tend towards far right, the people that aren't on the internet, they support the U.S. Constitution a great deal, dude. So that's kind of the problem there. If you want to have a civic nationalist United States, which will resemble something like Yugoslavia or even the Soviet Union, you run into the problem of the Constitution of 1788. You have to rewrite the Constitution to be different than the Constitution of 1788. Yeah, so if the Soviet Union, I need to, since I'm playing on, I need to have it pause when new technology happens. So this guy's like, if the Soviet Union wasn't a loose confederacy and committed something similar to China, Russia would have not have collapsed and probably would have been the most powerful country in the world. Yes. In fact, Beria saw this coming. Beria saw this kind of thing coming, and he wanted to restructure if Beria came to power. And Beria, according to, I haven't read through, because you have to read every different school of history here. You have to read the Stalinist revisionist here, beside Robert Conquest or something like that, about the Soviet Union, and build up what really happened between the two, and then read primary sources too. What can you read? Which you can get in English. I can't speak Russian. Beria wanted to create a more unitary system. Beria would have been probably more Russophile and Russifying. A lot of the problem is you have to remember, you have this, what unifies a system is you have two systems the same size. So you have the de jure system of the Soviet Union, right, with the premier and all that, and then you have the real system of power, which is the party, and the party is what unified it. So when you destroy the party, you destroy the Soviet Union, and Gorbachev gutted the party and destroyed the Soviet Union. So to maintain the Soviet Union, you'd have to transform the party from being Marxist-Leninist to being National Bolshevik. And if in the 80s, if they could have done that, then they could have created some kind of... I mean, the Soviet Union was very, very pro-family. Very, very... Compared to Western Europe. Oh my God, so pro-family. Very, very good eugenic policies. Very pro-family. Outstanding policies. But you'd have to have some kind of abandonment of certain aspects of Marxism-Leninism, which would help the Soviet Union. And there is a kind of an internal problem because they had good birth weights for the modern world, Russia and Ukraine and Belarus, but over time, it probably would be contained. But Central Asia right now and at that time is having a pretty big population explosion worldwide for their, not for like an African country, but for their level of for relatively advanced societies. They're very high up on having babies right now. Yes, Senator Nazbol and Inquisition, multinational state, not multiracial state. That's debatable if Central Asians are a different race than Eastern Slavs and Baltics and Caucasians. I would assume Eastern Slavs, Baltics, and Caucasians are all the same race, and Tartars. There's some, obviously some East, in like Tuva, East Asians, but Central Asians are really like Hapas. I kind of have a theory. I don't know that much about China, but basically, let's send our daughters over here as tributes into Central Asia, and Gook girls are hot. Asian girls, can be pretty hot. These white guys just started mixing with these Chinese girls, and voila, Hapa Empire, Central Asia. But Turkmenistan is very like Persian, isn't it? So, got my industrial capacity here. I kind of hate clicking through this. Yeah, I'll get date cucked on that one. So let's build oil. CIA is still using Afghanistan for heroin and other drugs. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, the United States has been there since 2001. What are they gaining? Afghanistan controls 90% of opium production in the entire world. Obviously, connect the dots, dude. Obviously, heroin... The United States is controlling the global heroin trade through occupation of Afghanistan, and covert money is supporting CIA operations such as, colored revolutions, Euromaidan against Russia, isolating Russia. We'll be seeing probably with Venezuela, maybe that has some, obviously CIA money's in Venezuela. I don't know how much is a colored revolution per se. Because some of that stuff really, it's not that astroturfed, I think, with Venezuela. I'm not a Venezuelan specialist. I don't know that much revisionist stuff. But they'll try and, so China's allies, they're going to try and use drug money and whatever to color revolution China's allies in the near future. Just as they color revolution former Soviet states against Russia. Okay, so India. I don't know if you consider India a Soviet ally in that sense. India is India is a non-aligned state which trades more with the Soviet Union. I don't know if I want to call it a Soviet ally. Yeah, as U.S. soldiers definitely do defend poppy farms. I think I can still get date cucked on all those. Yeah, 38. I can start building these. I need the industrial ones, or this won't go very far though. Thoughts on Romania. So, with my statement of trying to, when I got rid of the flag vids about Romania and national communism, Ceausescu, going back to that, Ceausescu's Romania kind of just became this husk from what I believe is the Plutonic idea of why Marxist-Leninist regimes become right-wing. And it just becomes this husk, and it kind of needs religion to provide a meaning for the society, and it just becomes weak. Because Ceausescu is kind of the proletarian peasant risen up. And he did many great things. Really, Ceausescu had really great things, and Ceausescu had good instincts. But Ceausescu wasn't the smartest guy, and he botched stuff a lot. But if Ceausescu didn't have that atheistic streak, and he was just a fascist, because Ceausescu's regime said Antonescu was a good guy. I don't know. It was really weird because they'd say Antonescu had all these great ideas. He's a Romanian patriot because of his national communism. But you click on the thing in it. So, but Ceausescu, Ceausescu, I'm saying his name right. I'm sorry. I'm bad. I'm phonically retarded. Okay. Phonically retarded. Whatever, we'll just build the hospital of one single thing. So, Ceausescu said that Antonescu was pretty cool. But if he embraced the Roman Orthodox Church and he transitioned completely away from Marxism-Leninism into a true third position, I don't think that state would have collapsed, bro. He did so many good things. And I mean, Ceausescu was caught in a cascade collapse that Gorbachev unleashed. I mean, I'm not a Marxist-Leninist. I am not a materialist. I am not. Let's not get more dissent. I'm not a materialist. But, build some structure. But I really wish if he had some kind of religious policy, pro-Christian policy, and he was fully third, because he was so close from breaking off completely from Marxism-Leninism. But I think it's just kind of, it's where you run into a barrier of, because he's a peasant, he runs into this barrier of he has the gut instinct, the true gut instinct. Sorry, we should just continue on. I don't want to cry about Ceausescu forever. Central Asia is mostly Russian. Okay, so somebody's asking Chinese girls or Korean girls. I've not talked to that many. The one Korean girl I've ever talked to was a lesbian. I was hitting on this Korean like adopted girl, and she like I bought her drinks because of being such a fucking dumbass, and then like her friend is like she's lesbian, so I just fucking wasted all this time. I felt like such a fucking retard, but I don't know. Chinese girls are pretty cool, I guess. I don't have a view of Venezuela. If they truly hate their government, it is their business. I'm technically am in defense of Venezuela because I'm technically so Sino-Japanese war started. Okay, I'm technically in defense of Venezuela because I wouldn't support U.S. intervention. I can be against Venezuela and not support U.S. intervention. I don't know exactly. I want to keep neutral on it because I don't know exactly what's going on down there, bro. I don't know exactly what's going on. My opinion is, was the propaganda in World War One? They had like death factories. The Germans were like raping nuns and having death factories in Belgium. You know, they threw the babies. They threw the babies out of incubators. Weapons of mass destruction, and they're mobile, and you can't check them because he has entire labs devoted to building nuclear weapons that are mobile, moving around the country, and you can never check. So, I'm not talking to any Venezuelan people, but maybe stuff like that in Venezuela right now is really actually as bad as they say, or maybe it's just like they throw the babies out of the incubators, I don't care. I'm fighting age. I could be drafted. I don't want to fucking die killing like Venezuela. I'm sorry. That's my opinion on it. I don't have to side with the Venezuelan government. I don't have to be against it. The U.S. has lied in every single war it's ever been in. Don't need to go to war. Let's say the Kuomintang. Aggression pact to nationalist China. What the fuck is this question? What would you choose? Speaking German, Nazwell Federation, or mulatto transsexual grandkid? Well, obviously. Yeah, I'd rather have German victory than having a mulatto transsexual grandchild. Okay. Should I talk about what I think would have happened if Germany won the war? Okay, so Germany won the war. I think Hitler's gonna last long. Hitler is against, is he? He's not Ministry of Interior yet, is he? Yeah, he's not Minister of Interior yet, and I can't change it. But Rosenberg, Heinrich Himmler, cut out with the cultic nonsense. It would have shifted towards a general German. I mean, he appointed Goebbels he was kind of on the Strasser team, so that's pretty cool at first. But he appointed Goebbels, and he appointed, it's not Rader. I'm so tired. Don'tz. He appointed Don'tz is his successor. Don'tz was president. Goebbels was prime minister. So he appointed them as his successors. It would not be Man in the High Castle. It would not be, Swastika Night or whatever the fuck. It would have been probably more moderate than Hitler had he won. Who knows how far the colonization of Poland would have been if Poland... But outside Germany, the Holocaust wasn't popular, dude. What? I don't want to talk about my opinions on the Holocaust on YouTube. If I'm going to do a Holocaust vids, they'll be on BitChute. They are too spicy for YouTube. If I'm saying that, you know what I think about the Holocaust right then and there. But I'll leave it at that. So, I don't think General Plan Ost would have been supported by the German people. I mean, Germany did a lot of bad stuff here. The Soviet Union got, because of all the horrible things that Germany did, despite whatever you guys think happened in the Holodomor, everybody became pro-Soviet. Stalin's regime was very popular, much more popular than Nicholas II's regime, and it helped them. It helped them. This is 30. Yeah, you won't get date cucked on this one. It helped them push out the Germans. So yeah, I don't think. I mean, they did some General Plan Ost. But I don't think the German people, after wartime, fully knowing what was happening, because you have to remember, Germany was not very totalitarian. There were still people who did criticize the German state, who lived prior to the war. You have to remember, the U.S. mostly was interned. A lot of Germans and Italians outside the Japanese, and all the Japanese people were interned in the United States. Germany, despite what your history teacher tells you, he doesn't know shit in college. Germany really wasn't that authoritarian. That totalitarian. Germany, I mean, the generals almost killed Hitler. Stalin wiped out his generals, dude. So, Germany would have transitioned into being something like the Imperial Germany of World War I. And General Plan Ost would not have been stomached by the people, regardless of all the horrible things that they did in Belarus. And I'm saying they did do horrible things in Belarus and Ukraine. They would have colonized Poland like Israel is colonizing Palestine, but that's about it. So that's what I think would have happened. They would have just colonized, these provinces I'm clicking on in the game, and that would have been it. Now, would Germany have fallen into degeneracy? I don't know, man. I don't know, but that's what, in the immediate post-war period, that's what I would see happening. See, I can't... Oh, yeah. Do you think that communist leaders before Stalin were degenerates like Lenin and Trotsky? Stalin flushed them out. Yeah, Stalin killed all the old Bolsheviks. Stalin killed all the old Bolsheviks. Stalin ended Judeo-Bolshevism, if you want to call it that. When he wiped out the old Bolsheviks in the Great Purge hasn't happened. It'll happen soon in the game. It's pretty close. It should happen soon. When he wiped out all the old Bolsheviks in the Great Purge, he killed the concept of Judeo-Bolshevism, and he caused the transition into really kind of Ukrainian, politically speaking, Ukrainian-dominated, military speaking, Russian-dominated state of the Soviet Union. Stalin created that with the Great Purge. And he put the state on to a very, very right-wing trajectory from a Platonist understanding. Stalin had some of the best eugenic policies, and the Soviet Union after him was very pro-family. Very much supported procreation of people, had very low taxes, and much high on people that would have children, very much higher on single people, and when you have guaranteed apartments and guaranteed jobs, put a lot more tax on people that weren't having children and couples that were not having children. The Great Purge should be occurring soon here. I don't know exactly the date in the game. How do you convert from being an atheist? If you read through basic introductions to Aquinas, like Edward Fazer's anti-new atheist stuff. Vox Day's an Aryan, he's a heretic. I really do like Vox Day though, even though his problems, he's really fucking good on rhetoric. Um, get into that. Get into Vox Day and Edward Fazer. Read their stuff. Just start it if you want to stop being an atheist. Because I want you to be a Christian. I want you to be baptized. I want you to save your soul. Watch Vox Days on his Vox Day University or whatever, Voxiversity. Watch his Why Christianity is So Important videos, those 2 videos on there. And just read about how stupid new atheism is with him, and more importantly, Ed Fazer. And then from Ed Fazer's new atheist stuff, get into introductions on Aquinas, get into those kind of introductions, and truly understand the philosophy of Plato and of Aristotle and of the scholastics. When you have a true understanding of scholastic philosophy, you will not be an atheist. I don't know that much about the United States and Syria. I haven't looked into it. When stuff like that's currently happening, I don't want to trust any of the news media, so I don't know if they really killed 800 people or whatever. I didn't click it right. There you go. Yeah, practically speaking, though, United States is the Air Force of ISIS. Okay, with Donald Trump winning and everybody's complaining about him and going yang gang and stuff, when in 2015 and 2016 there was ISIS running over people with a truck every week, there was bombings, shootings from lone wolves, and now there is following Christchurch. Now it's ramping up again because it was happened back to them, so now they have to prove that they're the masters of killing innocent people. But it was like the lone gun shooters. Am I just not gonna have the Great Purge? This is fucking awesome, dude. I don't want to have the Great Purge if I don't have to. Why would I want the Great Purge if I don't have to? So, in 2015 and 2016, I had this really big psychic effect on me to where it was like, all you'd ever see in the news, every other week or every week, there would be a Black Lives Matter riot, tear up Baltimore, tear up St. Louis, tear up what have you, whatever city. And then there'd be somebody gets into a semi, runs over 20 people. Some Muslim ISIS member shoots up like 25 people every other week. And it had this psychological effect when Trump was running for president that the world is coming to an end. Society is collapsing. There's these black riots overtaking these cities, and there's these massacres occurring all the time, right? And psychologically speaking, the effect on me is the world's coming to an end, dude. The world is coming to everything is fucking falling apart. And Trump took office, I gotta get advanced machine tools or whatever. And those 2 right there to get my system running up on the up and up. But the psychological effect was like, this is falling apart, man. This is going to shit. And when Trump took office, all that went away. So I have a theory that basically Eric Holder, behind the scenes, was strong-arming all these cities to allowing these fucking riots to happen and preventing them from stopping happening, and that U.S. was basically directly supporting ISIS, and Trump stopped it. So whatever you want to say against Trump not building a wall, when Trump took office, those two things came to an end, and my life is much better, dude. And the fucking importing of refugees came to an end. I mean, sure, he didn't do anything positive, but what he got away with the negative actions, like he doesn't have to do anything, he doesn't have to do any advocation of policy towards us. He's getting away of importing refugees into my neighborhood. No more ISIS running over people in France. No more Eric Holder starting race riots all across the country. As soon as he took over, since he took over in 2017, that stuff has been on. Those three things have been on the decline. That's pretty good. Plus Supreme Court justices, so I will vote for him over Yang. If you fucking hate me for that, fuck you, dude. It's construction. Concerning married faults. Yeah, so Hillary Clinton wanted to put no-fly zones in Syria. You know, I said to anybody I met about that, is like, who do you support, Donald Trump or Hillary? And you know, you meet a liberal in the street, and I just say, do you really? Oh, great purge time. So I'm gonna do a rant for Hearts of Iron 2 right now. Hearts of Iron 2 is a Holocaust denial game. You can do the Rape of Nanking. You don't really do it, you just click it. It happens as soon as you take Nanking as Japan. And you can choose right here to do the Great Purge as the Soviet Union, and I have to do it, or, you know, minus 30%. I'll fuck up my sliders a little bit. And I'm going to do it anyway, because I want some fucking Beria action going on. So I'll purge the traitors. But you can do the Great Purge, and it automatically does. Rape of Nanking. No Holocaust at all in the game. And I think going with the orthodox history of what I won't talk about on what I need to talk about if I'm going to talk about this on BitChute, is that should be in the game, because it should be like, you have to click it, it'll give you a bunch of, like, it'll fuck up your sliders, right? If you choose no Holocaust, right? It'll fuck up your sliders, or you choose the Holocaust and it takes away a bunch of it should take away a bunch of resources, because they got to divert them to the death camps. During the 1930s, Stalin's paranoia increased, and numerous power struggles between lesser men were viewed as dangerous to his leadership in the wave of three major and smaller purges. The political and military leadership of the Soviet Union was effectively decimated and put under strict control of Stalin. The purge of the army eliminated 3 out of the 5 of the marshals, 14 out of the 16 army commanders, approximately half of the 70 to 80,000 men in the entire officer corps. Needless to say, the purge inevitably had an extremely deleterious effect on the effectiveness of the Red Army's leadership. But it's probably the reason he won World War II. To be honest, even Hitler saw that. So now it's out of control. Here's a bunch of clicking action going on. Germany just annexed Austria. This is kind of like, I hate doing this because there's so much clicking here. So I mean, am I really not going to do the Great Purge? Let's get some fucking Beria action right now. I wonder what the I haven't read through that much, like, Tanky and Stalinist apologists. I wonder what they say about Beria, because from our understanding, Beria is like a serial killer rapist, right? So I just always wondered. What do you think about Beria? Now I have, like, oh shit, fuck. It's running the timer down. I don't know how far it got, guys. I didn't waste too much time with in the tech teams there. Just clicking through it, most most influential and like fun to watch part of the stream, me clicking through the killing people and the Great Purge. Nationals China next. Okay. They're marching down, China gets to annex all the fucking warlords as they come down. Is the Japanese come down? And Germany annexed Austria. So go to the tech teams. Yeah, I have like 10% dissent. Okay. Let's fucking roll the dice here. Let's just get rid of the dissent real fast. I hate dissent. Let's get some butter. I feel like the right-wing community will have a Yang Trump civil war between 2020. My opinion is that Yang is a flare-up. I don't see him lasting very long. He'll be at best what Herman Cain or somebody like that, or Ben Carson was to the Republicans. I don't see him lasting that deep inside of the primaries. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Do you really think that if... I don't know how the fuck you get it through Congress, or through the House and the Senate with the Yang Bucks. So let's say Yang Bucks actually happens if it gets through the House and the Senate. Like, I think that's even harder to implement than the wall, but maybe I'm fucking retarded. If the Yang Buck comes out, are you really... Like, cool for me, I'm not making that much money a year, right? I have a liberal arts... Oh shit, it's running a clock. I have a liberal arts degree, and I'm working at like one step above minimum wage right now. So that's cool for me. If I get $1,000 a year, I'll put all that $1,000 into rent. But or $1,000 a month, I'll put all that into rent every month. But that's to expect if you did have universal basic income, and that's not to get into all the like problems from a society that the money would be just as valuable as it is now, and that you wouldn't have the capitalist class readjusting living standards and how much you have to pay to the new universal basic income. Okay, let's just start. Let's continue. I'm gonna be done with dissent pretty soon. Okay, man. Okay, dissent's over. Pretty fun stream, eh? Pretty fun stream. It's like 52 now. Do I want to be building AC into... Let's see what, like, if I build... It's not AC, is it? It's IC. What am I at? 219. Still bigger than them, than Germany. Not bigger than US though. Let's start building tanks and not switch it into IC. We'll build like one division too. Just fuck around, we'll just build infrastructure. Just fuck around, son. And then next time we get a mass bomb of infrastructure, we'll just not infrastructure of IC coming in. We'll just click out of it and start putting into troops. As soon as I get random major worker strike, as soon as I fucking fix everything. I already talked about what I thought about Vox in the Spanish election. Here, I'll be back in a second. So I kind of want to play through this till I get to the Winter War, because I'm kind of getting tired and I'm half in the bag right now. So we used our television to influence the third world. Struggling for better living is bad. Using the mentality to move where the money is being given. Yeah, but the NGOs are directly pushing those people here too, dude. You have to remember that the NGOs are kind of like the fist of the international globalist dildo. They're pushing them here. The issue with the universal basic income is the issue with the universal basic income is it'll act as a subsidy for wages, so American corporations can pay what they do to China to compete. I never thought about it from that matrix. I just thought that it would just lead to a decline in the value. Basically, what would happen is the living standard would just jump up, and you'd be given $1,000, but if that, like, everything would just become much more expensive, and it would just jump up, and you'd be living in what you're living in now, and you just get $1,000 bucks per month, and that'd be it. And you'd just be doing what you're doing now, if not worse. But I never thought about it in terms of, like, they'll just give everyone the neat bucks, and then you'll be paid $2 an hour. I never thought about it like that. God, my mouse. My mouse. wanted to play through the Winter War. He wants to directly target tech companies for the UBI. Good luck with that. He wants to single them out. Good luck with that in the Constitution, dude, and with the Supreme Court. Directly singling out certain companies to force them to pay taxes when they're tech companies is like a certain industry. Cool. Oh, the border war. So, border war. Yeah, let's fix all this. See, some of these I accidentally clicked like a fucking retard. So now I'm fixing this. Gotta hear me talk silently. I fix everything. I'm fixing everything for you. Fix this a little bit here. Build more tanks for further down the line. Get them armored cars. Let's see what the chat says. Getting pretty tired, fam. Chillin'. Do you think Trump will win re-election? Do I think... We'll see how the Democratic primaries go. Pretty much, I'm not that enthused. I don't think Trump is gonna win. I think that he has so much put against him. And let's talk about, like, concrete things that have happened. So we talk about, like, the Puerto Rican hurricane and the enfranchisement of felons in Florida. I think Florida might be hard blue now. If Trump can't win Florida, that's a huge fucking wrench in his system. And Trump swung... It's predicated on his protectionism and how that'll do for jobs for the Midwest, him re-winning the Midwest. So if Trump can't win Florida, he has to universally win the Midwest. And his economy has to be going at full bar. I can't tell you if the economy is going to be going through 10 out of 10 in 2020 for the Midwest. It needs to be from the win re-election. But the thing is the Democrats might choose, because the thing is that who wins the Democratic primary and who wins the Democratic primary and who couldn't actually win. So Biden can win the presidency, but can't win the Democratic Party, or can't win the primary for the Democrats, but he can win the presidency. So, if Warren somehow wins the primary, she probably can't win the presidency. And that's the problem, is that there's so many people in, we don't know who the fuck is going to win the primaries. And you could pick somebody like, as I just said, Warren, or even Yang that could win the primaries, but they have like a snowball's chance in hell of winning the presidency against Trump. But in general, I don't. My gut feeling is Trump's gonna be swimming pretty hard. He's swimming pretty hard against the current for 2020. Yeah, I can't, religiously speaking, because they all universally support abortion. I can't support any of the Democrats. I'm sorry. People want me to be Nazbol there. I can't. I just can't do it religiously. I'm under obligation to not support him. Already talked about. So Nazbol Gain, do you think in the future we'll gain technology to manipulate genetics at a greater level, and we should use it to raise races of lower IQ? I don't think we're gonna get there. I already talked about that. I'm kind of have a pessimistic view of dysgenics will prevent that when we get to it, and just kind of energy in general. No, I don't think that you need to have negative eugenics. You just need to have a society of positive eugenics. And having negative eugenics, if you have negative eugenics to the beginning, if you have dysgenics to begin with, you can't enact negative eugenics. Because if you have a dysgenic society, you won't realize what's going wrong. You'll be caught in your garbage, and you won't be able to stop the fall. You have to have a rebirth and a reimagining of society, a renaissance of that society to prevent dysgenics from taking hold to begin with, to even pursue negative eugenics. I don't think you really need negative eugenics, though. You just need to have a society which has a purpose and has a meaning and is pro-life. Really, that's what I believe. You don't need to enact negative eugenics. This work, because it's all, is it wrenches? No, it's stars. We can put this guy here for the stars. Stars! If you play some Resident Evil 2 and 3 later. I'm getting kind of far along, boys. A little tired. Yeah, I think we'll see what happens in Texas, because you're talking about it doesn't look good for Trump due to the demographics. So we'll look and see what happens for Texas. I agree the NGOs are the main factors in bringing these people in, and we need to arrest them. However, we have the news that enable them and influence people into being in favor? Maybe in Europe. America's pretty far gone, dude. That's all I'm gonna say. I think America's pretty far gone. Good luck saving it. Again, I don't... God, it's just auto-going. As far as, like, saving America and all that, from with saving, like, America versus, like, acceleration, I'm in the opinion that it's so far naturally going on that you can't prevent acceleration, that it's just already in the free fall. You can hear the fucking... I can't whistle very well, but you can hear the falling down. Why are you going to actively join in promoting evil if the evil's already triumphing and you can't stop it? That's my opinion. Accelerationism is going to happen anyway. You don't need to dirty yourself by joining in. And the thing is that as a traditional Catholic, I've been a sedevacantist. And it's very hard, at least online, and I'm assuming in real life to a lesser extent, most people that become sedevacantists just give up. And that's what accelerationism is. Once you take a position like that, you can't dig yourself out of that hole. So you gotta keep your head up, because once you think that you have no hope, And once you join in to kicking something that's down, you're going to join in with the mob that's kicking that person that's down. So you just can't, you can't, from a spiritual point of view, join in with accelerationism. Do I know what postulatism is? Isn't that like UFOology, Marxism-Leninism, where the UFOs are going to come down and like help us enact like full luxury communism? I don't know exactly. I think that that's what it means. So what are you saying here? So I would personally arrest the NGOs because in the U.S. Code it's crime to encourage illegal aliens, harbor them, and transport them. Yeah, but do you believe in Pizzagate? What is your opinion on Pizzagate? And then get back to me on that. Like, research Pizzagate and get back to me on, I would personally arrest the NGOs because the U.S. Code is a crime to encourage illegal aliens, harbor them. You gotta learn about Pizzagate and get back to me on that whole thing right there, bro. Yeah, the Florida felon black pill is a meme that they have to jump through before a lot of bureaucratic hoops before they can vote. But the district courts can do a Florida court order and like force them to do it right before it. So we'll see how the court circuits deal with that, dude. Unfortunately, this is the last Republican president. For some time, yeah. How long till the AR-15s are banned? Depends on how long the people we appoint to the Supreme Court stand up for them. The clock keeps running. Like, when the Germans finally invade, I'm gonna get wrecked, fam. Yeah, it pretty much just depends for the AR-15s how long we have once. Trump will lose. The Democrats will be in power for 20 to 30 years. We'll get to the point when we become so Brazilified or so. Look, I'm fucking retarded. I'm gonna get fucking wrecked when Germany invades. There'll become a point where it will be like in Brazil, and eventually the conservative parties will be able to compete again, like in Brazil and Mexico, but there'll be a gap for 20 odd years or something crazy where the Democrats are in complete control of everything. And if that gap lasts long enough, 20, 30 years, where they eventually gain the Supreme Court long enough, we'll take away all. It doesn't stop at AR-15s, dude. They may salami tactics while there's still a Supreme Court, though. AR-15s. So we'll just have to see. Trying to build tanks here. Oh, I can still only build one at a time. Let's build the heavy tanks with it. What do I have left? 15. Can build motorized cavalry. Let's get AT guns. Only one. That's it. That's okay. Do I think ethno states will arise out of the collapse of the United States? If it's fast enough, the United States will collapse. I already talked about this. If it has to be really, really fast, and it's a lot easier if you have Asians or like African blacks coming in, or like Muslims or something, to like shock people. But the thing about Mexicans is that they're half white, or they have a large Caucasian, and Central Americans, large Caucasian element to their DNA. And they speak a European language, and they're Christian. So they're integrating to a degree, and I think that they're just going to integrate to a lesser to greater degree and it's just going to transform the United States into being a Latin American state. The United States is just going to decline as an entity into becoming a Brazil-like state. I don't really have that much hope in, your acceleration collapse kind of shit. Wait, no, I don't want Molotov to decline. What are you? No, fuck you. Look at my sweet, sweet rapist, Beria. Oh, oh, did he decline anyway? Shouldn't he be fine? Yeah, Molotov should be. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's like 39. Yeah, it'd have to be really. Ooh, I didn't even notice that until now that the war's been lasting a really long time. Yeah, I don't think ethno states are gonna rise anytime soon in the U.S., dude. Kind of think it's more like Brazilification. When will the masses begin converting to Nazbol Mormonism? When I lead the great proletarian revolution, dude. What's the game? This is Hearts of Iron 2. I'm playing on the darkest, the version that's on the Darkest Hour fan mod that's released through Steam. I'm gonna call it a mod because it basically is, but it's a streamlined version made by fans to make the game a lot easier to play with mods. And I'm playing the original version of Darkest Hour Armageddon. So Hearts of Iron 2. I like how on the original map it has like hard coded like Soviet Union and Germany and France written on top. It's kind of funny because sometimes you'll play a mod that's like Central Asia or you'll play a mod where it's like Central Asia. You'll play a mod and it's like modern day mod and the Soviet Union is still written over the top of the Russian Federation. Sliders a little bit here, a little better. I'm too finicky. Well, it's good enough. I'm too finicky for this right now. Y'all want to ask your questions or should I just go to bed? Y'all knuckers want to ask your questions? I'm getting tired. Maybe I can just do this in another stream where I invade Finland. Because I'm getting tired, bros. And if you don't have any more questions, I'm just going to wrap this all up. Yeah, what's a better GF/wife material? Okay. Asian QT or passionate Latina? What's your race, though, if you're asking this question? If you're Asian, obviously you want to have an Asian girlfriend. If you're Latina, obviously you want to have a Latina girlfriend. If you're white, it's probably better to have a Latina girlfriend. Like, that'll mix better. Like, People that are mestizos don't seem very angry compared to people that are Hapas. Do you think that there, do you think there's hope for Europe to be white? So for the triumph of a white Europe, you need to see one to two of these two things. The collapse of the European Union, which is slow, but what is happening. Is hard Brexit supposed to have happened yet, or is it delayed? It's so fucking stupid, I don't even know what's happening. But, you know, the European Union, if there's another economic crisis, if there's another recession, the strands which hold it together are going to pull so hard that it's going to start falling apart anyway, no matter what. So the European Union will collapse. And then number two, United States hegemony needs to collapse. I mean, right now, how long do you really think the Fifth Republic's going to last, dude? Like, I pray to God every night. The will of God is that France stays white, right? The problem is not that white people will take it back. The problem is like, what happens then? How do you get it 90%? How do you get 95% white? That's the real question. You're a neocon? No, you don't deserve a motherfucker. No neocon deserves to breed. Death to neocon scum! Brexit is supposed to happen today, I believe. I can't. I go to the left. See, as you can see, I'm going around in a fucking circle trying to get off the screen. I can't get off the screen in Hearts of Iron 2 here. So, if it did happen today, I can't look it up and see what's happening with it right now. Is there any... There's only one star for the entire Soviet Union. I have, like, give you the tech teams on, so when I invade the Baltic states, I'm gonna get their tech teams, I guess. Fiddling with the sliders. So finicky. I can't think of any way that's gonna happen without a devastating civil war. No benefit will come out of it. Okay, so every single president that France elects can't deal with their problems, and they all have like 20% approval rating and serve one term, dude. Like was it 18 going to be 19 weeks? The yellow the yellow vests are gonna be protesting. Like the Fifth Republic's days are numbered, man. So the Great War. So, as you guys have seen, the war of the century has begun. Fascist Italy versus Zog. Zog the First. So the Great War, the decision of the universe has begun. The war of fascism versus the Zog. Okay, there we go. There's the... Okay, there we go. Industrial capacity. And then pause up here. Don't pause up there. Thoughts on the 3 days of darkness? Don't be in a state of mortal sin. Right? I don't know. I'm supposed to carry beeswax candles in your house anyway, so... The idea of being obsessed with the 3 days of darkness is kind of like putting your brain in the fridge, dude. Like putting your brain on ice. It's not a good idea. Do do do. Okay, we're gonna try and ramp up the get the descent down and start building infantry divisions. Streaming, streaming, streaming. No questions for me. Gonna yell at my fan base like I'm DSP. Give me your questions, niggas. Just waste an IC. Just letting the clock run and waste IC while I talk to you guys. What is the best movie and why is it Caligula? Caligula. The best movie is Suspiria by Suspiria. Is it Suspiria or Suspiria by Dario Argento, director, Auteur Theory. Number 1 best movie ever made, Suspiria. This is the best movie. So Caligula's a fucking shit show, dude. That's a hard sit, man. That's a fucking hard sit right there. This is like, you know, I could complain about all the porn, and obviously porn is evil and all that, but like, there's not that much to Caligula. They're just talking in front of like black curtains the whole entire movie. It's just straight up shit. Well, if the Fifth Republic collapses, then there's no more EU, dude. Like, the EU is gonna be like the fucking Arab League and just condemn, like, the collapse of the Fifth Republic. It's kind of hard for me to imagine the EU, like, a EU without France. Do you believe in hell? Can you... Holy shit. I don't even know. Like, I don't know if I'm, like, in the right mind to talk to somebody. So, last question of the stream. Do you believe in hell? Can you explain to a materialist about it? I don't even think I'm in the right mind, man. Right. I could say, so you send yourself to hell. Basically, I don't think about hell as in, like, do all these people have value? Like, do they not deserve it? No, think about it more of like, they don't. You yourself don't have any value. This is what I think. Maybe it won't be good for you, but we'll take two perspectives right here if we talk about hell. Look at the way that the world is. Look at how much suffering. Look at how evil humanity is from a natural point of view. Do you think that they don't deserve hell? You think that it's very hard for me to realistically believe in something as silly as universal salvation. This is bad, really bad for a materialist, but I'm just gonna say this is what I think to myself. Um, can I really believe in that all people are saved? That all people have the same intrinsic value and that they all deserve to be saved? Um, no, I can't believe in that. I can't believe that because if you believe in that, the world that we have is just as good as heaven. Really, like if this world is not going to be judged in some deep and meaningful way, um, then what good is heaven? What good is the last judgment? What point does heaven have if this is the fate of everyone? I'm sending this stuff there so I can reorganize it. And then the second thing is that right, you send yourself to hell, is that for the Triniter, if the sinner really went to heaven, the idea of being against God, not just against their free will, but against their very being, if they hate God, it defines their very being at the most basic level, then heaven is more painful than hell could ever be. That heaven is really, or going to hell for them is a act of mercy. In fact, hell is an act of mercy. But I mean, do you really think that this world is all good? Do you think that the world is not truly fallen in any deep sense? Why do you not tick the box next to the fact? I don't know what you're talking about in the economy tab. What do you think of Passion of the Christ? Classic or torture porn? Classic. It's very hard to watch at first. So, I'm gonna call the fucking hell answer and go watch Passion. Go watch Passion of the Christ right now, everybody. Go watch Passion of the Christ. It's good. It'll be good for you. You'll like it. I'm gonna call that the end of the stream. So, next stream, let's save it here. Hopefully, I'll gauge myself better. And we won't get wrecked by Germany when I'm really bad at streaming games. I'm fucking shit at games when I play them. So next stream, maybe we can play some more Soviet Union. We'll start with the invasion of Finland. I'm gonna end the stream now, guys. I gotta exit out of Hearts of Iron 2. Thank you. I appreciate everyone so much for coming to this stream. Thank you so much, and God bless you guys. Night, night, everybody. Thanks for coming on.